Today we will discuss Robert Browning's dramatic monologue Porphyria's Lover. We already know dramatic monologue, that is like how Robert Browning is very good with dramatic monologues. You must have come across The Last Duchess by Robert Browning. So now let us see this dramatic monologue, how it goes on. Okay, this is about Porphyria's lover. So here the lover is so much obsessed with the love, this girl, that doesn't know how to hold that moment to himself, and he is not sure whether she will leave her societal relations completely and come to him. So he gradually kills her, strangles her with her own hair. That is what we see in this poem. The rain set early into night. The sullen wind was soon awake. It tore the elm tops down for spite and did its worst to vex the lake. So here the climate is being discussed, like how it was very much raining, how it was thunder was there, how the wind was very mad, and how it even disturbed the lake. We know lake is quite calm, and here it is shown how the lake is being annoyed by this wind. I listened with heart fit to break, and glided in Porphyria. Straight she cut the cold out of and the storm. She kneeled and made the cheerless grate blaze up, and all the cottage warm. So in this night, in this situation, in this kind of weather, Porphyria comes into her lover's cottage, and then she kneels down, she lights the cottage, and then lighting this cottage is also symbolically like lighting light in his life. Which done, she rose, and from her form withdrew the dripping cloak and shawl, and laid her soiled gloves by untied her hat, and let the damp hair fall. So she removes her cloak, she removes her shawl, she removes her gloves, and then she also lets her hair, wet hair, she removes her hat, and then she lets her wet hair drip like that. Then at last she sat down by my side and called my name. She sat by my side and she called my name. When no voice replied, when I did not give her any reply, she put my arm around her waist, and then she made her shoulder bare, and then all her yellow hair was displaced here and there, and then and stooping made my cheek lie there and spread all over her yellow hair. So she made her hair to brush my cheeks, murmuring how much she loved me. So she was murmuring how she loved me, and she was too weak for her heart's endure to set its struggling passion free from pride and vainer ties dissever, and give herself to me forever. So she has left her parents and come here this evening, but he is not sure how far she will be able to stay against her family relation or the societal relation, and to give justice to this love that she has with this lover. But passion sometimes would prevail, nor could tonight's gay feast restrain a sudden thought of one so pale for love of her, and all in vain. When I thought of all this, that whether she will be, this moment is mine, this moment she's mine, she's so precious, she's mine, but then I'm not sure whether next moment what will happen. I don't know with the familial relationships whether she will decide to stay away from me, and I cannot bear that. So she was come through wind and rain. Be sure I looked at her eyes, happy and proud. At last I knew Porphyria worshipped me. I looked into her eyes. I feel very happy. I feel very proud that she came to me. And I knew Porphyria worshipped me. And still it grew while I debated what to do. So he don't know what next he should do. That moment she was mine, mine fair, perfectly pure and good. That moment she was mine. I found a thing to do, and I found what I should do. And I took in one long yellow string, I wound 3 times her little throat around and strangled her. So I took all her yellow hair, I made it into one strand, I wounded it on her neck 3 times, and then I strangled her. No pain felt she. I am sure she felt no pain. She did not feel any pain. I am sure she did not feel any pain. This shows that in-depth kind of love that she had for this lover. That even when he is killing, she is like calm. She's like okay. She's letting him to kill her. Same kind of attitude we can see in Desdemona. Othello's Desdemona, how she did not blame him for his death, for her death. No pain felt she. I am sure she felt no pain. So this is quite like a university question, this is. As a shut bud that holds a bee, I warily opened her lids. Now, more cruel is what you see, like what he was doing with her dead body. In between, he used to open her eyes and see the eyes so blue. Again laughed the blue eyes without a stain, and I untightened next the tress about her neck. Her cheek once more blushed bright beneath my burning kiss. So he says that he removed that the kind of untightened, so the lock was tightened around her neck, so he untightened it, and then he says that her cheeks were still blushing out of his kiss. I propped her head up as before, so he gave a support on her head. Only this time my shoulder bore her head, which droops upon it still, and smiling rosy little head. So glad it was its utmost will that its scorned at once is fled, and its love and am gained instead. So this moment I am holding her. This moment is mine. This moment she is with me. I was afraid whether she will go after her family relationships and then she will leave me, but then I have completely made her mine, and this moment she is mine. Porphyria's love. She guessed not how her darling one wish would be heard, and thus we sit together now, and all night long we have not stirred. So she have always given all her wishes, all that man's wish. She has completely given herself into all the wishes, and at this last moment when he kills her, also she is remaining very passive. She doesn't react back. And then he says that whole night he sat with the dead body, and yet God has not said a word. God did not say a word. No punishment he got. So here God also represents the patriarchal society. Okay, how patriarchal society did not react to this murder. I hope it is clear to you. Thank you.